Hello, everybody. This is Your By Audio Skeptics, and I'm Michael Ringtail.
And I'm Nishoba.
We have read the second part of this article, and I'm convinced. I think it's time that we go straight, go our separate ways, we find some girls, and make some babies.
I know, man. After reading this article, maybe he's right. Maybe these points make sense. Oh, yeah, let's go over it. This is 6 reasons why practicing homosexuals can't be Christian. Part 2. Prepare for the stupid.
Yes, part 2 of a trilogy. Multitudes today are confused about gay-related issues. It's easier to go with the flow and steer clear of the intimidation to conform, right? Because everyone's going gay. The PC, also known as politically correct for all you idiots out there, police are ever present.
I almost, for some reason, when I was reading it, as he was reading it in my mind, for some reason, it said steer clear of the Illuminati. That just came up into my head. I'm sorry. Keep going, hun.
Because few of us want to be perceived as backward and bigoted homophobes.
You are. Excuse me.
Now, let's not be rude. As tolerant advocates often brand those with whom they disagree, right? It's all about disagreement. Those neo-Nazis, those racists, they're just in disagreement of black people existing. Or as people who are not in step with the progressive equality, non-judgmental mantra.
Because progression is such a bad thing.
No, that's just all how they label it. They just label it as progressive and make it sound all peachy, when really it's not. It's going against God's way. It's easy to clam up and play it cool, saying things like, of course I'm for equality and non-discrimination. But that's not an option for faithful, obedient followers of Jesus. You hear that? All you middle ground Christians who are like, I don't agree with your lifestyle, but, if you want to get married, that's fine. I'm not going to vote for you. Yeah, that's for you. That's for you to rise up and start taking some action. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. warned, when we learn the truth but choose to remain silent, that's when we begin to die.
Misquotes!
Dr. Alveda King, Martin's niece, told me in an interview for our video project, Is Gay Okay?, which I shall look up next. 10 things every Christian needs to know. If her uncle were alive today, he would remain steadfast in defense of biblical marriage and reject attempts to justify immoral conduct as civil rights. Oh, you mean like interracial marriage? He reminded us again of his oft-quoted words concerning the church's role in society. The church is neither the master of the state nor the servant of the state, but rather the conscience of the state, as he would say.
Okay, so before we go into the 6 points here, I'm just going to point this out now. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine actually said there's no there's no citation whatsoever of any of this stuff in here, which is, it's fine. That's, usually how these people go. They just throw stuff out there. And you can also say we're not citing anything really either. Well, we will, but most of my cites are going to be logical inconsistencies. I've seen this. First of all, let's just look at the last paragraph before the 6 points here. He's talking about Alveda King. Alveda King is a huge outspoken bigot. She's been severely outspoken when it comes to being anti-gay.
No, she just has different views.
Oh, God.
You gotta respect her views.
I do not respect the moron's views. I would actually go as far as to say she's not just a moron. She was designed to be a moron. And that phone is going to be turned off because that's a case of beer.
Would you say, was it unintelligent design?
Yeah, no. But here's another thing. One of King's writers and one of the people who literally brought him up, which was Russell, was gay. Okay?
What was his
and
full
granted, Bernard Russell. I believe it's Bernard Russell. Don't quote me on that because I can't remember. I'm bad with names. Really bad with names. Okay? Unless it's some weird ass nickname, then I'll remember it, Someone comes up to me, my name is Flippity Floppy Lilip. I'll remember it, but that's besides the point. Anyway, Russell was gay. And Grant King had to distance himself at the end because of, controversy. The thing is that this man, King, had no problem with him. And a lot of people, including King's wife, Coretta Scott King, also said that her husband would fully support equality. Now, I'm just going to throw this on a whim. I know Andy really well, and we've been together for 4 years. And here's the thing. I know him better than his friends do, than his nephews do, that his cousins do. I'm going to take the words of someone's wife over the words of a bigoted, stupid, imbecilic, idiotic niece. So let's go on to the first point from that segue. To call oneself an authentic Christian and remain a practicing homosexual is a direct contradiction of biblical teaching and contrary to the abundant life promised by Jesus. He promised an abundant life?
Nothing's more abundant than believing in Jesus.
Okay. I don't really
Jesus is all
remember
you
that,
need.
and I've read the Bible
Jesus
quite a few
is
times.
all you need.
So, just as Christian hatred is an oxymoron, so too is the term gay Christian.
You know, I would agree on the second part there. You know, gay Christian is kind of an oxymoron to me just because, you know, what the Bible says and everything.
Well,
Christian hatred, though.
that's not an oxymoron. That's a fucking reality.
No. Yeah.
No,
I think there's plenty of hate you can find in the Bible.
Yeah, and there's plenty of hatred that I'm sorry, but just calling people like us a sin, that's hatred. I'm sorry. You can paint it any way you want.
I think I get it though.
You can put it at a scale of 1 to 10. It doesn't fucking matter. Bigotry is fucking bigotry. Hatred is hatred.
Nope.
Sorry.
It's love to them. Everything's the opposite of everything. When they're attacking you and killing you for being in belief of a different God or practicing a sinful act, they're doing it out of love.
Just to quote Tomska in ASDF movie,
I'm gonna punch you in the face!
But it's opposite day.
Oh no!
okay? That's literally how these people think. Hate is love and love is hate. It's so stupid.
And then they turn it around and try to put it on us.
Oh, well, that's what I was just saying. Hate is love and love is hate.
Right.
It's like, you know, telling us that we're going to burn and choke and scream and be tortured for all eternity.
But they don't want us to do that. That's why they try to bring us into conversion therapy.
Where they
Quote,
strap
unquote.
electrodes to your thighs and hook you up to a device.
That's how it makes the electrolytes work to make you straight.
Oh, yeah, no. Surviving that was an experience that I do not like to recant. But to call one, basically he goes, just as, we got past, I'm sorry. According to the Christian faith, one person responds to a gospel message in repentance and faith. He or she finds a new start and then fulfill their destiny in life. Even as Saul and Taurus, a murderer, became Paul the apostle, a great saint and missionary leader, Christianity asserts that God redeems repentant people who may be homosexual, adulterers, drunkards, idolaters, or whatever, you know, because anything
negative.
Anything negative is associated with being gay.
All sin is equal in the eyes of the Lord.
Yeah, we're going to go on this after I finish reading it. It happened in the San Francisco of the day, Corinth.
Or Corinth?
Corinth. It's either Corinth or Corinth. I believe it's for Corinthians. It's the city before, whatever. But has been repeated all over the world. Jesus Christ didn't invade human history as the world's Messiah to merely make one's selfish, sinful lives a little better and more prosperous. He came to totally transform our lives and not only forgive our sins, but free us from sin's power. So, okay, this is the first bullet point. Now let's look at all the stupidity in here.
Sin's power.
Okay, first of all, sorry, but you're basically saying that your only version of religion is reality. That doesn't happen in reality. Pretty much red herring, gone. Your whole Jesus, gone. Sorry, nothing in there. You can't use that to argue with real reality versus their reality. And this is also pretty much like pointing out that this writer's view of Christianity is literally the only Christianity. And that's the thing I see with a lot of conservative Christians versus very open-minded Christians, is that their version of Christianity is the ultimate truth and you can't differ for it. Where if you look at, say, like an Episcopalian, well, there's multiple different variations, and not one is more right or wrong than the other. It all depends on blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, you have to look at it this way, is that if you don't exactly believe what this person's saying, then you're technically on the wrong side of the fence. And that also is a ridiculous mindset to be in. And, you know, you could probably also turn around and say the same thing about us, but the difference is we're not trying to basically tell people, well, I guess you say who are mostly white, to change their intrinsic behavior or intrinsic characteristics. We're not telling this straight person that he must be gay because some sky daddy told us to. No. And telling people they should be straight is extremely harmful. So, no. Another thing that this guy is putting out there is, even as Saul of Tarsus, a murderer, became Paul the Apostle, a great saint and missionary leader, Christians assert that God redeems repentant people. God redeemed a murderer, okay? A person who murdered quite a few people, okay? And then murdered a lot more because they didn't convert to the faith. But he redeemed a murderer who killed people, who took people's lives. But he's not going to redeem a loving couple that's been together for 45 years or longer and died in the same hospital bed next to each other.
Butt sex. It's all about where you stick your dick in.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous. It's so stupid. So let's look at this. And so we kind of wrote off the whole thing about Jesus Christ came into history. Well, guess what? People who are Muslim can say Allah did that. Muhammad did that. You know, people who are, oh my God, people of all different faiths can say whatever they want.
Our selfish, sinful lives, because, you know, everyone's just inherently evil and out to get you.
And yeah, and that's an appeal to, I would say it's an appeal to fear more than an appeal to emotion or straw man. I would say it's more of an appeal to fear because, oh God, we're all damned. We have to save ourselves from our sins that we didn't create, original sin, which never happened. So, yeah.
What do you mean? The Garden of Eden is right there in the Middle East.
No, the Garden of Eden, the Garden of Eden never existed. Well, it does exist. It exists in the game called Assassin's Creed. But, yeah, that's about it.
Next one. Practicing homosexuality is most definitely sinful and contradicting biblical teaching and God's orders for the human relationships and family. We're aware this is contrary to what some religious, gay-affirming churches and leaders put forth. They reject the authority of the Bible, twist the meaning of passages. Not at all what you do at all.
Oh,
but they must be challenged and called back to faithfulness to the truth. The Bible consistently, ambiguously, without exception, prohibits practicing homosexuality and mixing fabrics, and tells us to honor God's design for sexual behavior between men and women. The purpose is that we enjoy a fulfilling sexual experience in marriage, and ideally have children as an expression of our marital love, especially when it may include 2 or 3 wives over the course of a lifetime. Stating this forthrightly is not hate speech. This is an expression of divine love because sinful behavior not only hurts our Creator, you hurt his feelings, but also is harmful to us and others. God gives us laws for our own good.
Our laws do not come from man, they come from God. It's the natural law of God. Our founders really understood that and believed it.
Because, you know, me and Chris having sex one day, next thing you know, that next door neighbor's going to kill himself.
Oh my God, I just realized something. You know how you can kill a fairy in Peter Pan by saying, I don't believe in fairies! Well, shit, if just being gay hurts God, then what if we just start all saying, I don't believe in God, he's going to fall down dead, and because no one heard him fall like the tree in the forest, is anyone going to care? And then if we don't all clap, he's not going to come back? Holy shit, we should all try this, everyone. Get together, let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I don't believe in God! Oh my God. That's just, that's stupid. I really want to tear this apart really quick before I let you tear it apart. Let me just, please.
Go.
Okay. So, practicing homosexuality is most definitely sinful. By what standards? What is...
Leviticus.
Leviticus doesn't count, remember? Because the moment you say that Leviticus codes, the kosher codes were gone. Then they go to the New Testament.
Whatever.
Yeah, they go to the New
Whatever
Testament. They go to
passage,
Corinthians and Ephesians and all other shit.
Yeah, it's blibbly blobbly blue.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is by what standards? What if a gay couple is completely celibate, but they just love each other? I mean, there is gay couples out there that don't ever have sex. They do exist. Some couples love each other very much, and they're asexual. Some of them may be same. Some of them are same sex. Some of them are opposite sex. It shouldn't. What is the sinful part? You can say it's the butt sex, but I mean, come on, seriously.
Yeah, I wonder if they say it's our duty to marry and make a family. What do they think about asexuals? Do they even? Well, they probably don't even think they exist.
Well, yeah, like they do with bisexuals.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing, though, is that this is so bandwagon. This is bandwagon. This is such a bandwagon logic fallacy. And then they go on to say the gay affirming churches put forth and they reject the authority of the Bible. Whose authority? Because what makes your opinion more right than theirs? None, because religion is so subjective, you can't quantify it. You can't do shit with it other than kill people with it. That's about all you can do with religion.
Convince people to kill each other with it.
That's about it.
Yeah, over superstitious reasons. And your opinions on the Bible itself don't mean anything.
Yeah.
There are facts about the Bible. It's a fact that it's complete and utter bullshit. It's a fact that it was written by men, ignorant, bigoted men who didn't know their ass from a hole in the ground.
Well, who believed every animal species was within walking distance of Noah's house.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and if you showed a calf, a striped post, whatever, they would give birth to striped calves, shit of that nature.
Don't forget, you need to sacrifice the blood of a lamb. Is it blood of a lamb or goat?
Oh, it doesn't matter. And rabbits chew cud. Bats are birds. All these things are just fucking wrong. These are facts that they got wrong.
Yeah, and then if someone wants to argue, well, they got some things wrong. No, I'm sorry, they got everything wrong. Every time, and this is from the last time we talked, every time religion tried to assert itself as an influence in reality, it's always gotten it wrong. Completely, utterly wrong.
Now, if you want to look at it entirely as a metaphor, like the Greek mythologies, then yeah, that's pretty much all they are. It's just, stories that people fucking shared around, and that's it. And passed around. I mean, Jesus himself, the story of him dying and rising from the grave is shared with many, many different faiths that are older than Christianity.
Yeah, I mean, what about Hinduism? That's far older than Christianity.
And that's another one wonderful thing too, is that they never can acknowledge that there's religions that were older than Christianity. But of course, pre-flood days or whatever.
Well, Hinduism like predates Christianity, like by what, 50,000, almost 50,000 years?
Well, I think we're done with number 2. Let's go to number 3.
Okay, I just want to say it's like Hinduism literally it severely beats religion in terms of, or Christianity in terms of age.
Yeah.
And I mean, so maybe that's the right way. Maybe we all need to get right with and become one with Brahman. Become one with the entity, with the all. Number 3, homosexuality is not simply another alternative lifestyle. He's right. It's not an alternative lifestyle at all. It's what a person is.
Nope, it's just like hockey.
Oh, God. What's hockey? Oh, my God. Okay, in the Hebrew Christian Bible, there are multiple times in both the Old and New Testament accounts where homosexuality and other immoral activities are explicitly condemned as dishonorable to God and the natural order. Oh, they're bringing up the nature argument. I love this one. And of course, in brackets, the way things are designed to work. Designed? Okay. And as destructive to those involved with them, an entire chapter in the Old Testament lists certain activities and calls them detestable. Saying in new uncertain terms, stay away. Doesn't stay away. Doesn't say stay away. The New Testament uses 5 terms to describe both male and female homosexual conduct: unnatural, perverted, degrading, shameful, and indecent.
Therefore it is, because the Bible said so.
It doesn't say... Never mind.
Keep going.
Not to be facetious, but is it that hard to understand?
It's so obvious. Is it that hard to understand?
No. Scripture throughout forbids us to be sexually involved in 7 areas: with parents, with children, with brothers and sisters, with another spouse, with animals, with dead people, and with the same sex. These never change. Let me just point out, okay, really quick, if he wants to bring up more of these straw men and red herrings, let me just point out, everyone know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah with Lot and his wife and his children. Well, let's go past.
You mean the San Francisco back in the day?
Anyway, let's move past the whole. He was about to sell give his daughters to be raped and probably killed by all those men to protect the angels. Let's move past that and look to after they said, "Get the fuck out of the city." Lot's wife turned around, looked at the city as it was burning, and turned into a pillar of salt. That's what happened. She turned into a pillar of salt. What ended up happening after that is they went to live in a cave, and his daughters got Lot drunk and had sex with him to get pregnant so they could have kids. Nowhere does it say after this that this is wrong. So this guy's wrong in the incest part and the brothers and sisters part and the parents part.
Noah's Ark and the aftermath of that.
Yeah, no shit.
Adam and Eve. Where did everyone else come from?
So yeah, with another spouse, with animals, with dead people. Okay, so let's put it this way: same gay sex is not in any way adultery, which he's referring to. It's not having anything to do with bestiality, zoophilia, whatever, and nothing to do with necrophilia. Sorry for you zombie fans out there. iZombie won't happen. But anyway, here's the thing. He is combining multiple arguments into one, and I can't stand this because I love to chew this apart. First of all, comparing gay sex to any of the other things out there, pedophilia, incest, zoophilia, necrophilia, those are all separate, and polygamy are all separate arguments that have their own characteristics and are completely different from the fact. You can't really compare a loving couple having sex to having sex with a dead person. And I'm sorry, but if you do that, you are literally degrading your mind to that of a fucking shriveled fucking walnut. If you literally think that there is a connection between necrophilia and homosexuality, and if you're going to use all sins are equal in the eyes of God, that doesn't fucking fly. No, I want you to elaborate. Fucking elaborate. So, let me go to the little natural part here, because this is my favorite thing.
It's the natural order. It's the way things work.
The way things work. Okay, no, they're not the way things work. Designed. This is called the is-ought fallacy. Something is, therefore it ought to be. Because they look at it as, this is how it works in nature, or they think it works in nature, that's how it ought to be. Well, here's the thing is, I've gone back and forth when I was younger with this argument with fundamentalist Christians about nature, and the bigger argument is that it's not natural to be gay. And I'm like, well, there's not a single species, and this is science. There's not a single species we have not studied that hasn't had gay counterparts in it, homosexual counterparts in it. What we did notice is that the gay couples in the animal kingdom actually form monogamous relationships, or at least long-term relationships, which are usually unheard of in their heterosexual counterparts. Interesting little facet there. And they usually live longer too. Interesting, huh? But these are things that when I bring them up, then they say, well, then they bring up the negatives. Well, murder, rape, and incest is all in the nature. Should we follow that? And that's a completely separate argument. And of course, my reaction to that is, so you're saying that being gay is completely natural then, right? And of course, they're stuck. The smart ones and the, I would say, not brave ones, but the bodacious ones would say, yes. The stupid ones usually say, no, you got it wrong. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying. Well, you just said being gay is unnatural. I proved to you with real science, even though you don't believe in science, but real science, that there is gay animals in nature. You cannot deny that reality. You can't do it. Sorry, they're fucking there. Now you're bringing up a second argument. So you're saying you do believe being gay is natural. No. Well, then why are you saying that, there's other things in nature that are bad too then? I mean, you don't make any sense. So that's the nature versus nature argument. And I don't usually have it anymore because it's useless. It doesn't do anything. It just goes in circles. And as fun as it is to watch them run in little circles like a dumbass dog chasing its tail, it gets boring after 400 times.
Because it just goes back to them being selective. It's like, oh, this is, natural order of things. Like, oh, animals kill each other. Should we kill each other?
Yeah, well, you do.
Well, but in that response, you just admitted that homosexuality is now is natural, and even though it's natural, you're just telling people to just deny what their natural instincts are.
Yeah, well, of course, then they say that, well, should we let murderers be murderers and kill people? And the thing is that...
Well, it's only natural. You say we should only go with what's natural, and, if it's all natural and we should only go with what's natural, then we should just do it all, I guess.
But yeah,
right?
But the thing is that that's a separate argument, though.
I know.
It's a complete... They're trying to back up their argument with another argument. That doesn't work.
How damning their fucking stance is about things aren't natural. This fucking computer and this audio device is not natural.
No.
It didn't spontaneously combine itself in the ground and emerge.
No, this condenser mic we're using is not natural in any fucking way. And neither is this concoction of duct tape and more duct tape and a sock as our pop filter and boom mic any way natural at all. In fact, I think it's more unnatural than the microphone itself. We're going to probably take
an abomination.
It is definitely an abomination. It is a frankenfuck.
Number 4.
Take it away, Andy.
All of us are born with a fallen nature that give us a tendency to do wrong. Yes, going back into how we're just all inclined to hurt each other and cause pain upon one another because it's fun.
Original sin!
We don't have to train children to lie, steal, harm others, act selfishly, or demand their own way because they're fucking children. They're going to fucking do whatever the hell they want unless people tell them not to. They're going to stick their hand in fire if you don't tell them, hey, that's hot, that'll hurt you, don't do that. Oh, okay, I won't do that. You shouldn't lie because then people won't believe you if you started telling the truth. You ever heard the boy that cried wolf? A fable that teaches people things? Yeah.
Call me kind of sick-minded, but I kind of think the learning from experience is a great teacher more than anything else. Stick your hand in fire, you're going to get burned. You're never going to fucking do it again.
Right, but there's plenty of other ways you can figure that shit out.
I know.
I don't have to hit my dick with a hammer to figure out it's going to hurt.
Yeah, you just watch YouTube for that.
Pain Olympics. All of us are accountable for our own actions. Thank you. You're right. We are all accountable for our own actions because there's no God to forgive us. Biology can't make us do wrong, although circumstances can influence us. But you just said that we don't have to train children to lie, steal, harm others, act selfishly. If it's not in biology, then what the fuck is it? All those circumstances can influence us. What circumstances? To say otherwise leaves people as victims, not responsible for their behavior. A convenient excuse, if I do say so myself. That's like what a present-day celebrity married 8 years with 2 sons who shamelessly committed adultery with a younger country singer and left his wife to marry her did. He later told his wife, "It wasn't your fault. I've cheated from day one. It's just who I am." What story is he fucking talking about?
Well, you know what?
Is this his experience with his Lost Souls band?
Okay, you know what? Let me put this out there. Rush Limbaugh married, 4 or 5 fucking times? Okay, conservative, very conservative Christian. Let's look at Ted Haggerty. Gay is a $3 bill, okay? And he's banging on the wagon and gays should go to hell, and now he's apologizing
what he's saying
for
here,
it.
He's trying to say that this guy is doing wrong, but he doesn't know it's wrong. He just thinks it's okay because it's just what he's been doing all his life. He's been cheating on his girlfriends and his wife and everything. It's just... that's it, because if you let it all go, people are just going to do wrong and think it's all right.
But see, that argument doesn't work at all. It falls completely flat against us gay people, especially, all LGBT, because from day fucking one, the moment we start to know we're gay, for me, it was about 7, 8 years old. Andy was about 10, 11. He knew he was bi. Right?
Oh, hell yeah, I just didn't accept it. Reality.
Exactly. That's the thing is I didn't accept it either. And I hated myself. I hated myself every day and I wanted to die.
We share
and
the
the
same
thing is
pain.
that this is basically saying that we don't think there's nothing wrong with being gay. No. We grew up hating ourselves in complete, utter agony, trying to find a way to make ourselves right, to make ourselves, holy with God. And the reality is that only after we've realized how much bullshit it is and come to accept ourselves and remove ourselves from the stupid religion that constantly pounds this shit into our head, were we able to finally say, fuck you, we're finally happy. We weren't happy to begin with. We weren't gleefully and blissfully fucking and being gay. We hated ourselves, and it took fucking decades before we finally accepted ourselves for who we are. And every gay kid pretty much goes through that. Well, I can't say every gay kid, but a good 90% do. And tell me one kid, well, there's probably a few stories actually, but one kid who came out to his parents who didn't feel nervous. That right there shows that we're terrified of who we are and the feelings we have because of fucking idiots like this. Anyways, your time
according
to
to
kill it.
scripture and science, homosexuality has never been proven to be part of someone's biological constitution. So everyone decides his or her lot in life, although all of us are influenced differently because even... You're right. Some of us are just chosen to be drawn to the gay lifestyle.
Can I just jump in real quick? We haven't proven gravity yet, but we still believe in it, or we still accept the concept of gravity. We haven't proven
why gravity exists.
Well, yeah, science. People don't get this. Is that in science you have correlations, and you have tons of very strong correlations that you can make conclusions from. We don't ever really fully prove much. It's rare when we fully do prove something, and it's very hard in science to actually prove something. To say that, because it's not in writing proven that gay is biological, therefore it isn't, is another is-ought fallacy. It's another friggin' straw man and red herring. It's every problem, it's every logical fallacy bundled up in one fucking cesspool of stupid. Okay?
Well, the bottom line is this. We do express understanding regarding people's upbringing while not releasing people from taking personal responsibility for their actions. That's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so.
We can probably just cut that away because it's just padding. There's tons of science out there, twin studies, everything that shows that it's very much a biological thing. And common sense, well, I don't like to say common sense, but let's look at it this way. If being gay was a choice, why is there people who live in countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, who live in Uganda for
Russia.
sure, Russia, who are gay? Usually you would think that these people, because it's a choice, because it would be so hard to live in a world that wants to kill you every day, you would not be gay, but there's still gay people there. Explain that. Now I remember what I was going to say. So a lot of times when Christians who completely deny evolution become evolutionary experts instantly when it comes to the topic of homosexuality, and that YouTuber brought that up. And it's a funny little fact because the moment you start arguing about this, they'll bring up, well, there's no way homosexuality can exist because it would just be in a decade, out. It would be evolved out. Well, they have no idea how genes work. They have no idea how genes get passed on. They have no idea about the studies that show that male homosexuality actually can be hereditable, and that
because it all goes down to supernatural bullshit. They think it's the devil influencing people.
I know, but it's just so annoying. It's just, over the decades of that gene being passed on, eventually, there will be people who are more or less more attracted only to same sex than both sexes. And in bonobos, and he brought this up as well, in bonobos, it's literally their social constructs and their social groups. It's not acceptable to be predominantly straight. So that you see that gene pass on. Eventually, there's bonobos that are only gay. Take it away, Andy.
Yep. Number 5. There is a major distinction between people's behavior and their race. Well, yeah, there is. Here we go. My black friends and my Chinese friends and my Asian friends and my Russian friends and I got all these foreign friends. And my gay friends.
My black friends can't decide to become Caucasian.
Yeah, my black friends can't decide to become Caucasian.
My wife
can't decide You become a full-blown man. Though today some try. Oh boy.
Well, there's some transphobia there for you, folks.
One is chosen, the other is unchosen. Yes.
So do we really need to read this whole stupid thing here?
No,
well, I don't think we do.
Let's go through it real quickly. Homosexuality is something someone does, not something is. Each of us is personally responsible for our behavior, like we mentioned earlier. Blah blah blah, blah blah.
He compares us to drunks and rapists and child molesters.
Yeah, to confuse us wrongly creates a new minority status and special rights for a very small segment of the population, representing no more than 2 to 3%. And even this 2 to 3% may be less because some cite a prison experience, college experimentation, or one-time drug-influenced encounter as part of homosexual background.
Oh, so he's using that debunked study from 1963.
And even so, like, because they're only 2 to 3% of the population, therefore their rights are meaningless because they're just not enough of a influence. Unlike Christianity, where a lot of people follow Christianity, that's why we need laws protecting Christianity. Is that right? Because the majority is Christian?
Well, my black friends can't decide to become Caucasian. Let's take this straight. Ha.
What about Gaido, whatever they call it, disease?
Andy knows from my PTSD, I'm an ex-gay survivor. I still have nightmares of the shit that happened to me while I was in ex-gay therapy. Okay? Some seriously fucked up shit. And let me just put it this way. I have met a lot of ex-gay survivors in my life. None of us could become straight as much as we wanted to. Most of us eventually became atheists. Some of us, like myself, very angry atheists, which I'm fucking proud to be. Thank you.
Those who didn't kill themselves.
So his argument, my black friends can't decide to become Caucasian. I'm just going to add to it. Just like my gay friends can't become straight because reality is just far more stronger than science fiction. So, and my wife can't decide to become a full-blown man. Well, actually, technically, yeah, she could. With lots of hormone treatment and surgery, it's very possible. And if in the future, we'll probably be able to create working testicles that can produce semen, or ovaries that were converted from testicles that can produce eggs. And that's going to probably be in the next 100 years. That's possible. It's fucking science fiction now, but you know what? It could be reality. So if we want to talk about parables here, there's one. But the reality is that that argument, my black friends can't become white. Well, actually, anyone here remember Michael Jackson? Yeah, I'm bringing that up. He had a disease. Well, it's not a disease. It's a condition. It's called vertigo. It's where you lose pigment in your skin. And it affects a very small population of people, but they eventually start turning pink. And guess what? They're turning white. The Mormon Church used this as a way to basically say, if you pray hard enough, you'll become white and be accepted into our church. Yeah. Because they knew about it. It's been known about for decades, probably longer than decades. It hasn't been classified until about 40 years ago. Yeah. But the thing is that technically that can happen. The reality is, as we talked about before, race is a social construct. Okay? We are one race, the human species, Homo sapiens. Hate to burst that bubble. People can't accept that reality, then fucking reality check. There's no difference between me or someone else because of the color of our skin. I'm sorry, there isn't. If I magically became dark skinned and some of my friends magically became white, well, who fucking cares? There's no difference between us. We're not friends because I need that token minority in my life. We're friends because they're awesome. They like the same anime I do. They got me into some awesome things like coffee making and vaping and other shit. I mean, that's why we're friends. Doesn't fucking matter what the color of our skin is. It doesn't.
Gotta collect them all, according to these people. My black friends, that's why I always keep going on it with my black friends, my French friends, my Asian friends, my Canadian friends.
Yeah, it's just this argument. This extremely felonious argument Oh, it makes me so angry.
The article's not that old. It still pops up. It keeps popping up again and again and again.
No, this argument's been used for
years and years.
It's
and years
almost
and
two
years.
generations. Almost 2 generations.
Yep, and
in
they
about
still
4 more
trying to
years, there'll
cling
be
to
2
it.
generations.
Number 6. The cause of homosexuality is complex.
The person's, and it's just bullet points. The person's self-will, a dysfunctional home environment, spousal or child abuse, seduction by peers or authority figures. Studies show approximately 85% of lesbians were abused or molested, and 40% of gay men were seduced or molested by older gay men when they were younger boys. I'm just going to point this out. That is actually from the Paul Cameron study that was done in the 60s, 70s. It is completely redacted. It is not accepted as scientific fact. It is not even accepted as scientific inquiry. In fact, it's used as a laughing stock amongst APA members, ASA members, and American Medical Association members.
And just to throw this out there, I knew a girl once who told me how when she was little, when she was like 5 or 6, whatever, she had a girlfriend that would do things sexually to her. She was around the same age. She was another girl. The girl that was doing things to her grew up to be a lesbian, and she was still straight. Go fucking figure. What is it? What are the chances of it actually affecting you? Where are these studies? Where are these? Yeah, exactly what he said. Just where are these studies coming from?
Well, these old studies are very draconian, and most of them have been thrown out. And the problem is that, of course, in science, we look at, here's the evidence, because facts are actually really low on the scale. Well, here's the evidence. What conclusions can we draw from mountains of evidence? Not just 2 or 3 small select studies, but mountains of evidence that we've seen over the course of decades. What conclusions can we draw from this evidence? In these people's minds, their answers are already set. They already know the answer to the questions. They don't want the answers. They've reached their conclusions. Now they're trying to find any facts to back them up. And using old redacted studies, they're literally used as historical contents to laugh at. That's what they're using for facts. Well, this study in 1963, because they look at science as something they look at science like they look at their Bible. It doesn't change.
Correlation's not causation.
Exactly, but they look at old studies as, well, because we can't change our views in the Bible, therefore science can't change its views either. That's not true. Science changes every second. Things that we once thought is reality turn out, oh shit, we're wrong. What if we're wrong about black holes and they're actually wormholes? Well, guess what? In the scientific world, we're not going to say, fuck you, they're just black holes. No, we'll say, show us the evidence. And if you do have the evidence for it, we'll be like, well, damn, we're wrong. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fucking thank you.
Reward.
Yeah.
Media influence, pornography, drugs, absence of a father. Surprisingly, mother's not included down there. Childhood experimentation again. Confusion about identity, misunderstanding, artistic bent. Basically, by artistic bent, he's referring to being, like if you're a male, you're artistic, or you like music, or you like to dance, you like ballet, things that are not considered manly. And people make fun of you for it. And then, so it convinces you, because you're called fag so many times, that you're convinced to be gay.
Well, here's the thing: is confusion about identity or misunderstanding. Okay, here's the thing: is gay people are confused about their identity because of because of morons like this. Okay, fucking idiots like this. Okay, artistic bent. I'm sorry, but I do know a lot of people who are artists who are gay. I also know a lot of people who are artists who are completely straight, who, as awesome as they are, actually do get grossed out by me and Andy kissing in front of them. And it's not, well, it could be because of sociological concepts of, homophobia brought into stigma and all that other shit I could go into.
Just be a matter of taste. There's things that gross us out.
Thank you. So, I mean, it doesn't, as Andy said, it doesn't take him to know smashing his dick with a hammer is going to hurt. He knows it's going to hurt just by imagining it. Well, I guess you can apply the same concept. But that's the article. It ends with those bullet points. And it's basically stating bullshit and more bullshit. So, going through it again, I actually wanted to find more logical.
I didn't even bother to explain that last part too. It's just here's all the correlations that we have. Gay people take drugs. Well, straight people take drugs. It's pornography. Okay, well, shit. I looked at pornography. Lots of straight people look at pornography. Good luck, everyone.
If you know what, if pornography was one of the causes, even if it was only like a half of a percent of a cause that causes gayness, there'd be a lot more gay people out there because there's a lot of fucking pornography out there.
Yeah, and they would go so far as to argue that if a child sees a Playboy or whatever, that can turn them gay, Jack Chick style.
How the shit does looking at gigantic tits that are
Well,
definitely fake make you gay?
Well, you see a dick in there at some point, like a guy getting a blowjob, and all shit,
I thought Playboy didn't fully go into sex.
Yeah, Playboy fully goes into.
Oh,
sex.
I thought it was like the 50 Shades of Grey or something. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
See, you know what's funny is I actually didn't look at pornography until I was about 16 years old. Like every other 16-year-old.
I didn't see it until I was in the 6th grade. My dad had a porn closet that was locked up, and me and my friend at the time broke into it.
What?
Yeah, my dad used to have one, but then he got rid of all of them.
Well, I guess lockdown computer files didn't exist as much back then.
No, they didn't.
Encrypted files. It's a 30-character password. Anyway.
Yeah, once the internet came along, that closet emptied really quick.
Media influence is funny because, media, Christians taught us all this time, liberal media, la, 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 la. Well, I really don't watch the news. Sorry, I don't watch MSNBC. I most certainly don't watch Fox News, I'm sorry. Put a U in there by accident, an A and a U. But I don't watch that rubbish just because it's too sensational for me. Here's the thing is that in countries that really don't have television, there's still gay people. Countries that don't have pornography, there's still gay people. Countries that don't have drugs, there's some drugs, but still don't have gay people. Absence of a father. I know a lot of straight people who didn't have fathers growing up. I know a lot of gay people who had no mothers growing up. I'm a gay person who had neither, pretty much. Okay?
And I had both.
And Andy had both.
Never divorced.
Yeah. Childhood experience and experimentation, that, whatever. Seductions by peers or authority figures. Recruiting. Oh, God. This argument is so fucking old. And I can't remember if Anita Bryant started or not, but basically one of the Christians back in the 60s, 70s came out, said that because gays can't have children, they therefore have to recruit children. Oh, God. No. I'm sorry. It doesn't happen that way. Child abuse.
So they're also in the influence that, gay people are just were something new that came about at some point, like around the 50s or 60s or something. It was something new.
Well, spousal or child abuse. This one is, oh God. Okay, you know what? Here's the thing, is that I'm definitely a victim of child abuse growing up. I'm not going into that. But my fucking life sucked, okay? My gayness had nothing to come from that. And to say that I became gay because of my child abuse as a child is so unapologetically just mean. It's like the slap. It's more like the stab in the back after they slapped you so hard in the face you turned around. It's the 1-2 punch that you don't ever see coming. It's so bigoted. It's so fucking bigoted. And what about the people out there who are straight who suffered child abuse or were raped?
Tyler Perry, he's straight and he suffered abuse from a male preacher, and a female, a mother of one of his friends. He suffered that. He's straight.
It's just, it's like, are these people who are straight who suffer child abuse supposed to get some type of fucking medal? Oh, you didn't become the gay. Congratulations. No, it's just so fucking wrong. And to all the gay people out there who did suffer child abuse, these people don't even fucking realize the trauma that we've gone through in our lives. Just to say that, oh, well, you're gay because of that. Oh my God, it's so fucking bigoted. Dysfunctional home environment. Same with child abuse. You know what's funny though? I know a lot more gay people who are that came from dysfunctional homes that are fucking great fucking people. More than gay people who've actually had really loving mothers and fathers who pampered them and shit. Go figure. I guess a harder life makes you a better person. That person's self-will. Fuck you. either way, I think that about wraps it up.
Yep, I got nothing else. I had enough. My brain's starting to melt.
Yeah, you start it, I'll close it. Thank you so much for listening to the Bi Audio Skeptics. I'm Nishoba.
I'm Michael Ringtail. Good night.
Good night.